A billionaire's sneer echoes through the Grand Meridian's opulent lobby. She's just Harlem trash. Zora Kincaid, a black receptionist, endures mockery for her sleek bun, deep pink silk blouse, and white mermaid skirt, mistaken for a janitor by manager Victor Grayson and wealthy guests. Beneath her poised exterior lies a secret. She's a masterful makeup artist and silent hotel investor. When a gala crisis strikes, Zora's brilliance shines, prompting CEO Margaret Vaughn to call her Madam Kincaid, unveiling her true power. But what corruption festers within these gilded walls? Can Zora expose Grayson's dark scheme and bring justice? Stay tuned to unravel her triumph. Subscribe to catch every twist and share where and when you're diving into this tale. Is this story gripping? Comment 1 if it captivates, 0 if it falls flat. What's your prediction for Zora's journey? Zora Kincaid stood behind the polished marble counter of the Grand Meridian's lobby, her fingers dancing across the keyboard with the precision of a maestro. Crystal chandeliers cast golden light across the Manhattan Hotel's opulent expanse, their glow catching the sheen of her sleek, straight hair, pulled into a tight bun at the nape of her neck. Her deep pink silk blouse shimmered faintly, tucked neatly into a white mermaid-style skirt that hugged her frame, its hem flaring elegantly at her calves. To the untrained eye, she was just a receptionist, but her deft touch with a makeup brush, evident in the flawless contour of her own face, hinted at a hidden artistry. She adjusted a guest booking, her movements fluid, when a shadow loomed. "Kincaid!" Victor Grayson's voice sliced through the hum of the lobby. The hotel manager, mid-50s, strutted in a tailored suit, his silver cufflinks glinting with arrogance. "You botched the VIP suite booking again. Fix it or you're out." His eyes raked over her, lingering on her modest yet refined outfit. "And clean that coffee spill by the lounge. Janitor girl." Zora's breath caught, but her face remained a mask of calm. The lobby buzzed with guests, suits and sequins mingling in a sea of wealth. A billionaire in a navy blazer, his Rolex flashing, sneered from the velvet couch. "Harlem trash in a fancy skirt," he muttered, loud enough for his entourage to chuckle. Their laughter stung like a whip, but Zora's hand found the locket at her throat, engraved with, "For Mama, Z. Kincaid." Its cool metal grounded her, a tether to her mother's voice. "They'll try to bury you, but you're a seed." She stepped from behind the counter, her skirt swaying as she retrieved a cloth from a nearby cart. Kneeling by the coffee spill, she wiped the floor, her bun gleaming under the chandeliers. Grayson hovered, his smirk sharp as a blade. "Hurry up, Kincaid. You're not paid to dawdle." Zora's eyes flicked up, meeting his. "You'll know my name soon," she said, her voice low, laced with a quiet fire that made Grayson's smirk falter for a heartbeat before he scoffed. As she rose, a young woman in a designer gown paused, her gaze softening. "Your makeup's flawless," she whispered, nodding at Zora's subtle bronzer. "Where'd you learn that?" Zora offered a tight smile, her fingers brushing the locket. "A gift from my mother." The woman nodded, intrigued, but Grayson's glare sent her scurrying. Zora returned to the counter, her heart pounding. Was she betraying Mama by hiding her true self, her artistry, her power, behind this desk? She typed furiously, fixing the booking error Grayson had pinned on her, her mind racing. She'd caught a glitch in the gala reservations earlier, a discrepancy no one else noticed. Her makeup-trained eye for detail had always been her edge. In his office, Grayson slumped into a leather chair, the city skyline sprawling beyond his window. An email pinged, a financial report noting a major investment signed Z. Kincaid. He frowned, rubbing his jaw. A coincidence, surely. Zora was just a clerk, a nobody from Harlem. Yet unease gnawed at him. He recalled overhearing staff in the break room praising her for catching a booking error last week. "She's sharper than she looks," one had said. Grayson's fingers drummed the desk, where a handwritten note lay, "Check the gala bookings. ZK." He crumpled it, tossing it into the trash. "Ridiculous," he muttered, but his eyes darted to the door, as if Zora might appear. Zora, back at the counter, adjusted her blouse, the silk cool against her skin. The lobby's chatter faded as she watched Grayson stride toward the elevators, his posture stiff. She'd left that note deliberately, a seed planted to stir his doubt. Her mother's words echoed again. "You're a seed." Zora's gaze hardened. She wasn't just a receptionist. Her makeup artistry had won awards. Her investments had quietly shaped this hotel, but she'd chosen the shadows to learn its secrets. Grayson's contempt, the guests' sneers, they were fuel. She touched her locket, its weight a promise. Mama had been broken by this world, but Zora would rise. A bellhop dropped a stack of gala invitations nearby, and Zora knelt to help, her skirt pooling elegantly. "Thanks, Zora," he mumbled, avoiding her eyes. She nodded, slipping a subtle makeup tip into the conversation. "Use a lighter foundation for the gala lights." He blinked, surprised, but nodded. Zora stood, her bun unwavering, and returned to her post. The gala was coming, a stage where truths could unravel. She'd be ready. Grayson thought he knew her, but he'd soon learn the name. Zora Kincaid carried power. Power that would shake these gilded walls. Victor Grayson's polished shoes clicked against the marble as he stormed from his office. The crumpled note from Zora burning in his mind. His tailored suit felt tight, as if the weight of doubt constricted his chest. Zora Kincaid, a nobody clerk from Harlem, yet that email signed Z. Kincaid, gnawed at him. He paused by the lobby's edge, watching her behind the counter. Her sleek bun caught the chandelier's glow, her deep pink silk blouse a quiet defiance against the role he'd pinned on her. She was typing, her white mermaid skirt swaying slightly as she shifted, her fingers moving with a precision that unsettled him. Was she more than she seemed? Grayson slipped into the personnel office, the air heavy with the scent of old files. He rifled through Zora's record. Zora Kincaid, temp clerk, Harlem. No education listed, no accolades, just a ghost. He slammed the drawer shut, memories of his mother surfacing. A hotel maid mocked for her accent, her dreams crushed. Guilt flickered, but he smothered it. "She's nothing," he muttered, yet his hands trembled as he dialed the head concierge. "What do you know about Kincaid?" "She's quiet, works hard," the concierge said. "Fixed a booking mess last week without a word." Grayson's jaw tightened. He hung up, striding back to the lobby. Zora was assisting a guest, a fussy heiress in furs, her voice calm as she resolved a complaint about a suite's decor. "Try a softer palette for the gala," Zora suggested, her tone professional but laced with an artist's insight. The heiress nodded, impressed, unaware Zora's makeup artistry had once graced magazine covers. Grayson's eyes narrowed. Was that a glimpse of something deeper? He approached, his shadow falling over her. "Kincaid, you're pushing your luck with these suggestions," he snapped. Zora met his gaze, her locket glinting at her throat. "Just helping, Mr. Grayson," she said, her voice steady, but her eyes held a spark that made him step back. She turned to a colleague, a young bellhop struggling with a smudged eyeliner from a long shift. "Blend it outward," she whispered, adjusting his look with a deft touch. The bellhop grinned, transformed. Grayson's stomach twisted. She was no mere clerk. In a quiet moment, Zora leaned against the counter, her fingers brushing the locket. Mama's voice echoed, "You're a seed." Hiding her artistry, her true self, felt like a betrayal. She'd built a name in makeup, her brushes painting confidence on countless faces. Yet here she played small to learn the hotel's secrets. Grayson's contempt was a blade, but it sharpened her resolve. She slipped a note into the gala planner's folder, a subtle suggestion for lighting to enhance makeup tones. A seed indeed is planted to grow. Grayson retreated to his office, the city's hum beyond the window a distant roar. A board member's email flashed on his screen, demanding budget clarity for the gala. "Don't let errors slide, Victor," it read. His pulse quickened. Years ago, a botched event had nearly cost him his career, a demotion dodged by charm and lies. He couldn't falter now. Zora's note about the gala bookings haunted him. Was she onto something? He fished it from the trash, smoothing its edges. "Check the gala bookings. ZK." His fingers hovered over his keyboard, then stopped. No, he wouldn't let a clerk unravel him. Zora, meanwhile, caught a guest's eye, a photographer who lingered by the counter. "Your makeup's stunning," he said, studying her flawless contour. "You should be at the gala, Not behind this desk. Zora smiled, deflecting. Just doing my job. But his words stirred her. Was she hiding too long? The gala was days away, a stage where her skills could shine. She'd noticed discrepancies in the bookings, overbooked suites, odd charges. Her makeup-trained eye for detail had caught them, just as it had caught flaws in a client's blush years ago. She scribbled another note, slipping it into Grayson's planner. Double-check suite allocations. Grayson, pacing his office, found the new note. His face flushed. She's taunting me, he hissed. He recalled his mother's weary hands, scrubbing floors, her dreams buried under others' scorn. Zora's poise, her elegance in that pink blouse, mocked his control. He stormed to the boardroom, where a senior director grilled him on gala preparations. No mistakes, Grayson, the director barked. Your last fiasco nearly sank us. Grayson nodded, sweat beading. Zora's notes were a threat, her quiet competence a mirror to his fears. He'd watch her closer. Zora, back at her post, felt the weight of her locket. Mom had faced men like Grayson, men who saw only her skin, not her strength. Zora wouldn't break. Her bun tight, her skirt pristine, she typed, her mind sharp. The gala was her chance, not just to expose errors but to claim her place. She'd buried her light long enough. It was time to grow. Zora Kincaid slipped through the Harlem Community Center's doors, the city's pulse fading behind her. Her deep pink silk blouse caught the dim glow of fluorescent lights, her white mermaid skirt swaying as she moved, her sleek bun a crown of resolve. The classroom buzzed with eager teens, their faces lit with ambition. Zora set down her makeup kit, its brushes worn from years of transforming faces, and smiled. Here she wasn't a receptionist. She was a maestro, her artistry a beacon. Her locket, engraved for Mama Z. Kincaid, rested against her chest, a reminder of why she fought. Professor Kincaid! Jamal Carter, a lanky 19-year-old with a quick wit and hesitant eyes, waved from the front row. His usual swagger masked a flicker of self-doubt, a mirror to Zora's own buried fears. Ready to make me a star? He teased, but his fingers fidgeted. Zora's gaze softened. She saw herself in him, a seed waiting to bloom. Only if you trust the brush, she replied, her voice warm but firm. She handed him a foundation palette, guiding his hand to blend it smoothly. Light strokes, Jamal. Confidence is in the details. The class watched, rapt, as Zora transformed Jamal's face, her fingers dancing like they did on the hotel's keyboard, each stroke deliberate. She'd learned this from Mama, a receptionist whose dreams were crushed by men like Grayson. Zora's heart tightened, recalling Mama's final days, her spirit broken after Grayson's betrayal. Fired for her skin, not her skill. A memory flashed, Mama teaching her to blend eyeshadow, her hands steady despite the world's weight. We're seeds, not weeds, Mama had said, her voice fierce. Zora blinked back tears, her bun gleaming as she turned to the class. Tonight, we're designing looks for the Grand Meridian's Gala, she announced, tying her lesson to the hotel's looming event. The lights are harsh. Choose bold contours. Her students nodded, scribbling notes, but Jamal hesitated, his doubt surfacing. I mess up under pressure, he admitted, voice low. Zora knelt beside him, her skirt pooling. Pressure makes diamonds, Jamal. You're stronger than you know. She adjusted his brushwork, her expertise shining. A woman slipped into the back. Clara, a finance clerk from the hotel, her eyes curious. Didn't know you taught, Zora, Clara said, impressed. Heard you caught a booking error at work. Sharp eye. Zora smiled, deflecting. Just paying attention. Clara's presence was no coincidence. She'd seen Zora's note about the gala bookings. Zora handed out mock gala invites, her mind racing. The discrepancies she'd spotted, overbooked suites, odd charges, weren't mistakes. Her makeup-trained eye, honed on spotting flaws in a face, had caught them in numbers too. She'd slipped that note to Grayson to rattle him, but the gala was her true stage. Her artistry wasn't just brushes, it was strategy, precision, power. She glanced at her locket, Mama's words fueling her. She'd hidden long enough. Jamal finished his design, a bold look for a gala guest. "Think they'd notice me at the Meridian?" he asked, half joking. Zora's gaze was fierce. "They'll notice you, Jamal, just like they'll notice me." Her voice carried a promise, a vow to rise above the sneers, the janitor girl taunts. Clara lingered, pulling Zora aside. "Those gala numbers you flagged? I checked. Something's off." Zora's pulse quickened, but she kept her face calm. "Keep looking, Clara." Quietly. As the class ended, students crowded Zora, praising her skill. Jamal lingered, his confidence flickering. "You make it look easy, Professor. I'm scared I'll choke." Zora touched her locket, her blouse vibrant against the room's drab walls. "Mama taught me to grow through fear," she said. "You will too." Jamal nodded, a spark igniting in his eyes. Zora packed her kit, her skirt swaying as she left, the city's lights calling her back to the fight. The gala was near, and Grayson's world was about to crack. She wasn't just a seed, she was a storm, ready to break free. Back at the Grand Meridian, Grayson paced his office, the note from Zora burning in his pocket. A call from the board director echoed in his mind. No mistakes, Victor. His past failure, a botched event that nearly ended him, loomed large. Zora's poise, her quiet power, was a threat he couldn't name. Her bun, her elegance, mocked his control. He'd watch her every move, but deep down, he feared she was already ahead. Zora stepped into the night, her locket glinting. The hotel's secrets were unraveling, and she'd wield her artistry, on faces and truths, to bring them down. The gala would be her canvas, and she'd paint her mother's legacy in bold, unyielding strokes. Zora Kincaid's fingers tightened around her locket, the engraved "For Mama, Z. Kincaid," a silent vow as she stood in the staff lounge of the Grand Meridian. The room's sterile hum buzzed around her, a stark contrast to Harlem's warmth. Her deep pink silk blouse clung to her shoulders, her white mermaid skirt a quiet rebellion against the janitor girl label. Her sleek bun gleamed under fluorescent lights, each strand a testament to her unyielding resolve. The gala loomed, and Clara's whisper about off-kilter numbers fueled Zora's fire. She wasn't just fighting for herself. She was carving Mama's legacy into this gilded world. Victor Grayson's shadow fell across the lounge's threshold. His suit, crisp as ever, couldn't mask the unease in his eyes. "Kincaid," he said, his voice a forced drawl, "about that lobby incident. I was harsh." His apology dripped with condescension, his gaze flicking to her elegant attire with a mix of scorn and suspicion. Zora's lips curved faintly, not a smile but a challenge. "Appreciated, Mr. Grayson," she replied, her tone smooth as her silk blouse. "But the gala bookings need your attention. There's a major error." Grayson's jaw twitched. He'd found her second note, double-checked suite allocations, slipped into his planner like a taunt. "You're overstepping," he snapped, but his fingers betrayed him, fidgeting with his cufflinks. Zora stepped closer, her skirt swaying, and handed him a USB drive, its sleek surface catching the light. "This will show you the truth," she said, her eyes locked on his, a spark of defiance igniting. Grayson snatched it, his face a storm. "Don't test me, Kincaid." He turned, but not before Zora caught the flicker of fear in his eyes. Alone, Zora leaned against a locker, her locket cool against her skin. Mama's voice echoed, "You're a seed." She'd spotted those booking discrepancies weeks ago, her makeup artist's eye for detail catching patterns others missed, just as she'd once perfected a client's blush with a single stroke. The USB held data she'd pulled from the system, encrypted to protect her move. She'd learned the hotel's secrets in the shadows, her artistry not just in brushes but in strategy. Grayson thought he controlled the board, but she was rewriting the game. Grayson, in his office, slammed the USB into his laptop. The screen flickered, revealing a locked file. His pulse raced. Years ago, a botched event had nearly cost him everything. Demoted, humiliated, saved only by a lie. Now Zora's notes, her poise, her damn elegance in that pink blouse threatened to unravel him. He recalled a boardroom grilling, the director's voice cold. "No mistakes, Victor." His mother's weary hands flashed in his mind, scrubbing floors, her dreams crushed. Zora was different. Too sharp. Too bold. He dialed the IT desk. "Get me into this file," he barked, his voice tight. Zora returned to the reception desk, her bun unwavering as she typed. A guest, a fashion editor, paused, eyeing her flawless makeup. "You've got a gift," she said, nodding at Zora's contoured cheekbones. "Why hide it here?" Zora deflected with a smile. "Just serving guests." But the question stung. Hiding her artistry felt like betraying Mama, who taught her to paint faces with pride. She slipped a gala makeup tip into the planner's folder, used matte shades for stage lights, her expertise a quiet weapon. The gala was her stage and she'd play her part. Grayson stormed into the boardroom, the USB burning in his pocket. The senior director loomed, his voice sharp. "Gala budget's a mess, Victor. Fix it or you're done." Grayson nodded, sweat beading. Zora's notes, her quiet competence, were no coincidence. She was circling him, a predator in silk. He remembered his mother's broken spirit, mocked by men like this director. Zora's elegance, her unyielding gaze, mirrored that strength. He hated her for it. Zora, at her post, caught a bellhop's nervous glance. "Gala's gonna be big," he muttered. She nodded, adjusting his collar with an artist's touch. "Stick to neutral tones," she advised, her voice low. He grinned, steadied. Zora's locket glinted as she worked, her mind sharp. The USB was her gambit, the gala her battlefield. Grayson thought he knew her limits, but she'd buried her light long enough. Mama's legacy demanded more. A reckoning, a rising. She'd make them see her name, not as a clerk, but as a force. Zora Kincaid's heart raced as she slipped through the service corridor of the Grand Meridian, her white mermaid skirt brushing the tiled floor, her deep pink silk blouse a beacon in the dim light. Her sleek bun held firm, a symbol of her resolve, but her locket burned against her chest. Clara's warning about the gala numbers echoed, and the USB she'd given Grayson was a lit fuse. Mama's voice whispered, "You're a seed." Zora's makeup-trained eye, sharp enough to spot a flawed contour, had caught the truth. Those booking discrepancies weren't errors, but a trail of deceit. She paused by a staff phone, its cord dangling. Overhearing Evelyn Holt's sharp voice in the next room stopped her cold. Holt, the assistant manager, her tailored blazer as crisp as her tone, hissed into her phone. "Don't dig into Kincaid, Victor. She's a threat." Zora's breath hitched. Holt's heels clicked closer, her words venomous. "The gala funds are secure. My debts are paid and our rival hotel rises. Keep her in check." Zora pressed against the wall, her blouse catching faintly on the rough plaster. Holt's call ended, her heels fading. Zora exhaled, her mind racing. Debts? A rival hotel? The pieces clicked. Holt and Grayson were siphoning gala funds, a betrayal Mama would have fought. Zora hurried to the Harlem Community Center, her skirt swaying as she entered the familiar classroom. Jamal Carter looked up, his wit sharp but his eyes nervous. "Professor, you okay?" he asked, noting her tense expression. Zora nodded, her bun gleaming under the lights. "We've got work, Jamal." She pulled him to a corner, her locket glinting as she opened her laptop. "That USB I gave Grayson, it's got gala data," she said, her voice low. "Help me analyze it." Jamal's fingers flew across the keys, his confidence shaky but growing under her gaze. Zora's artistry shone, her eye for detail spotting a forged signature on an invoice. Holt's handwriting, unmistakable, like a smudged liner she'd correct. "These charges are fake," she murmured, her blouse vibrant against the room's drabness. "They're stealing." Jamal whistled. "This is big, Professor." Zora nodded, contacting Clara via secure chat. "Those invoices you flagged," Clara typed, "they tie to a shell company. I found emails. Holt to a supplier, shady deals." Zora's pulse surged. She'd known Clara from the hotel, a quiet ally who'd joined her makeup class. Now Clara's finance skills were her lifeline. "Send me everything," Zora replied, her fingers brushing her locket. Mama's strength flowed through her. She wouldn't falter. Back at the Grand Meridian, Victor Grayson stared at his laptop, the USB's locked file mocking him. Holt burst in, her eyes blazing. "Stop chasing Kincaid," she snapped. "She's nobody." Grayson's jaw tightened, his cufflinks glinting. Her notes aren't random, he said, his voice low. That investment email, Z Kincaid, she's trouble. Holt scoffed, but her fingers twisted, betraying her. A failed boutique years ago had buried her in debt. She'd clawed her way up, but the rival hotel was her escape. Zora's interference threatened everything. Grayson's mind churned. His mother's broken hands, scrubbing floors, haunted him. Zora's elegance, her quiet power, echoed that resilience. He hated it. A board director's call interrupted. Gala budget's a mess, Victor. Fix it. Grayson's stomach dropped. His near-demotion years ago, a botched event, loomed. Zora's USB was a grenade, and she'd lit the fuse. He slammed his fist on the desk, Holt's glare burning into him. Zora, back at the center, adjusted Jamal's makeup for a mock gala look, her brushes steady. Bold lines for the lights, she advised, her artistry a shield against the storm brewing. Jamal hesitated. What if we get caught, he whispered. Zora's eyes, sharp as her contour, met his. We're seized, Jamal. We grow through cracks. Her blouse glowed, her skirt a quiet defiance. She'd spotted the forged signature because she knew patterns, faces, numbers, lies. The gala was days away, and she'd expose the truth. As she left, Clara's email pinged. A file with Holt's emails, proof of the shell company. Zora's locket warmed against her skin. Mama had faced men like Grayson, men who broke her. Zora wouldn't break. The gala would be her canvas, her brushes painting justice. She stepped into the night, her bun unwavering, ready to shatter the hotel's gilded lies. Zora Kincaid sat in the dim Harlem Community Center, her laptop's glow casting shadows across her deep pink silk blouse. Her white mermaid skirt pooled around her, her sleek bun a quiet crown as she pored over Clara's emailed files. Her locket, engraved for Mama Z Kincaid, pressed against her chest, a heartbeat of purpose. Jamal hovered nearby, his wit subdued, eyes wide with the weight of their discovery. The forged invoices and shady emails pointed to a 3-year scheme, Holt and Grayson siphoning gala funds to build a rival hotel. Zora's makeup-trained eye, sharp as ever, caught every discrepancy, each number a lie as blatant as a smudged contour. Professor, this is heavy, Jamal whispered, his fingers hesitating over the keyboard. Zora's gaze softened, but her voice was steel. Truth is heavy, Jamal. We carry it. She clicked through Holt's emails, her artistry and precision guiding her. One message stopped her cold. A supplier's note referencing a deal Grayson had sealed years ago. Attached was a scanned memo, its faded text chilling. Dismissal of A. Kincaid, receptionist, for insubordination. Zora's breath caught. A. Kincaid, her mother. Her fingers trembled, clutching the locket. A memory surged. Mama, her hands steady with a makeup brush, smiling despite the hotel's cruelty. We're seeds, not weeds, she'd said, her voice fierce. But Grayson had promised her a promotion, only to fire her for her race, crushing her spirit. Zora's eyes stung, tears falling as she read on. The dismissal had broken Mama, her health crumbling soon after. Grayson's signature mocked her from the screen, a wound reopened. Zora's blouse creased as she leaned forward, her resolve hardening. He took her from me, she whispered, her voice raw. Jamal touched her arm, his usual quips gone. I'm sorry, Professor. Zora wiped her eyes, her bun unwavering. No apologies, Jamal. We fight. Her artistry wasn't just brushes, it was seeing truth in patterns, in faces, in lies. She found another email, Holt boasting to the supplier. The gala's our cash cow. Grayson's in deep. Zora's pulse raced. She recorded Holt's voice from a hacked voicemail, a damning confession. We've funneled millions, the rival's nearly built. Zora saved it, her fingers steady as if blending a perfect shade. At the Grand Meridian, Victor Grayson paced his office, the city's skyline a blur beyond the glass. The USB's locked file taunted him, and Holt's warning rang in his ears. He'd noticed missing financial reports. Someone was digging. His mind flashed to his mother, her hands raw from scrubbing, her dreams buried. Zora's elegance, Her sharp notes mirrored that strength, and it unnerved him. A call from the board director cut through. "Budget's still off, Victor. Don't fail us." His throat tightened. Years ago, a botched event had nearly ended him. Zora's moves were no coincidence. She was closing in. Zora, back at the center, adjusted Jamal's makeup for a practice gala look, her brushes a quiet ritual. "Sharp lines for the stage," she said, her voice steady despite her grief. Jamal hesitated. "What if they crush us?" Zora's eyes, fierce as her contour, met his. "They tried that with Mama. They failed." Her blouse glowed, her skirt a defiant sweep. She'd turned pain into power, her artistry spotting the email's hidden codes as easily as a flawed blush. The gala was tomorrow, and she'd wield truth like a brushstroke. Clara's message pinged. "More proof, bank transfers to the rival." Zora nodded, her locket warm. Mama's death wasn't just grief, it was fuel. Grayson's betrayal had taken her, but Zora would take his empire. She packed her kit, her bun tight, her mind sharper than ever. Jamal watched, his confidence growing. "We're with you, Professor," he said, his voice firm. Zora smiled, a warrior's smile. "Good, we're seeds, and we're breaking ground." Grayson alone stared at the USB. He'd cracked part of the file, booking errors tied to Holt's accounts. His heart sank. Zora knew. Her poise, her damn pink blouse haunted him. He remembered his mother's broken spirit, crushed by men like him. Zora was different, unbreakable. He slammed his desk, fear rising. The gala was his last stand, but Zora's shadow loomed larger. Zora stepped into the night, her locket glinting. The hotel's secrets were hers now, and the gala would be her reckoning. Mama's legacy demanded it, a canvas of justice, painted in bold, unyielding strokes. Zora Kincaid's breath steadied as she slipped into the Grand Meridian storage room, her white mermaid skirt brushing the dusty floor, her deep pink silk blouse a defiant glow in the shadows. Her sleek bun held firm, a symbol of her unyielding will, but her locket burned with Mama's memory. The gala was hours away, and the weight of Holt's recorded confession and Clara's evidence pressed against her. She'd face Evelyn Holt now, before the stage was set. Her makeup-trained eye, sharp as ever, scanned the room. Boxes of gala decor, a mirror reflecting her fierce resolve. Holt's heels clicked, her blazer sharp as her glare. "Kincaid," she hissed, spotting Zora. "Meddling again?" Zora stepped forward, her skirt swaying. "Stop the embezzlement, Evelyn. I know everything." Holt's laugh was cold, her eyes narrowing. "You're nothing, a clerk in a fancy blouse. I'll ruin you." She shoved a phone in her pocket, a false email to management already sent, accusing Zora of theft. Before Zora could respond, Holt slammed the door, the lock clicking shut. Zora's heart pounded, but panic was no match for her. Mama's voice echoed, "You're a seed." She fished a hairpin from her bun, its metal glinting like her locket. Her artistry wasn't just brushes, it was precision, problem-solving. She worked the lock, her fingers steady as if blending a perfect shade. The door clicked open and she slipped out, her blouse untucked but her resolve intact. She texted Jamal, "Get to the gala, bring the evidence." Her makeup skills had prepped a presenter's look earlier, bold contours for the stage lights, tying her artistry to tonight's battle. The gala hall glittered, chandeliers casting a golden haze over sequined gowns and tailored suits. Zora, her bun retightened, moved through the crowd, her skirt a quiet rebellion. She reached the control booth, her laptop ready. Jamal joined her, his eyes nervous but steady. "We got this, Professor," he whispered, handing her the USB. Zora nodded, her locket glinting. The screen above the stage flickered as she plugged in, her fingers dancing with the same precision she used on a client's face. Victor Grayson stood near the stage, his cufflinks flashing, his face pale. Holt whispered beside him, her gaze darting. Zora's voice cut through the hum. "Ladies and gentlemen, a moment." The crowd hushed, eyes on her pink blouse, her elegant silhouette. She clicked, and the screen blazed with evidence. Holt's emails, forged invoices, her recorded confession. "We've funneled millions." Gasps rippled through the room. A VIP in a tuxedo applauded. Others whispered in shock. Some glared at Grayson. Grayson lunged toward the booth. "She's lying!" he shouted, his voice cracking. Holt froze, her blazer no shield. Zora stood firm, her skirt swaying as she faced him. "The truth doesn't bend, Mr. Grayson." Her eyes sharp as her contour held his. The crowd parted, and Margaret Vaughn, the CEO, strode forward, her presence commanding. "Enough," she said, her voice steel. She turned to Zora, her gaze warm. "Madam Kincaid, step forward." The room stilled. Zora's locket caught the light, her blouse vibrant. Vaughn's voice rang out. "This is Zora Kincaid, our lead investor and a renowned makeup artist whose talent has shaped this hotel." The crowd erupted. Some cheered, others gaped. The billionaire from the lobby now silent. Grayson's face crumpled, Holt's eyes wide with defeat. Vaughn continued, "Her evidence exposes a betrayal. Justice will be served." Zora's heart soared, Mama's words alive. "You're a seed." Jamal grinned, his confidence blooming. Zora's artistry had painted this moment, not just on faces, but in truth. She'd designed the gala's visual flair, her makeup tips enhancing every performer, but this reveal was her masterpiece. Grayson stammered, "This is a mistake." But Vaughn's glare silenced him. Holt slipped toward the exit, but security blocked her. The crowd's murmurs grew. Some praised Zora's poise, others whispered of scandal. A fashion editor from the lobby nodded, awed. "She's no clerk." Zora stood tall, her bun a crown, her blouse a beacon. Mama's betrayal by Grayson fueled her. But this was her triumph. The gala hall, once a stage for her humiliation, now echoed her name. She touched her locket, whispering, "For you, Mama." The evidence was undeniable, the truth unshakable. Grayson's empire was crumbling, and Zora had lit the spark. The night wasn't over, but her canvas was set. Justice, bold and unyielding, was hers to paint. The Grand Meridian's grand hall echoed with stunned murmurs. The chandeliers glow softer now, as if bowing to Zora Kincaid's triumph. Her deep pink silk blouse shimmered, her white mermaid skirt a quiet rebellion, her sleek bun a crown forged in defiance. Her locket, engraved, "For Mama Z. Kincaid," pulsed against her heart, Mama's voice alive. "You're a seed." Margaret Vaughn's words, "Madam Kincaid," still rang, a beacon of respect that silenced the sneers. Victor Grayson and Evelyn Holt stood exposed, their empire of lies crumbling under the weight of Zora's truth. In the staff assembly room, Vaughn faced the employees, her presence commanding. Zora stood beside her, her bun impeccable, her blouse vibrant. "Victor Grayson and Evelyn Holt are terminated," Vaughn declared, her voice steel. "They face legal scrutiny for embezzlement." Gasps rippled. The bellhop who'd once averted his eyes now stared, shamefaced. The concierge who'd mocked her as janitor girl bowed his head. Vaughn turned to Zora, her gaze warm. "Madam Kincaid, I apologize for the indignities you endured. Your vision has saved this hotel." Zora's throat tightened, her locket glinting. "Thank you," she said, her voice steady but soft. The staff's silence was heavy, their earlier scorn replaced by awe. Vaughn continued, "We're establishing the A. Kincaid Scholarship for Marginalized Workers, honoring Zora's mother." Zora's eyes stung, Mama's memory a fire rekindled. She'd fought for this, not just justice, but a legacy. The staff applauded, tentative at first, then thunderous, a tide of respect washing over her. Later in the executive suite, Zora stood before Vaughn, her skirt swaying. "We need you as our management consultant," Vaughn said. "Reform our policies, ensure fairness." Zora nodded, her mind sharp as her makeup brushes. She'd seen patterns, on faces, in numbers, in systems. Her artistry would reshape this place. "I'll do it," she said, her voice a vow. Vaughn smiled. "You're a force, Madam Kincaid." Zora's locket warmed, Mama's pride alive in her chest. At the Harlem Community Center, Zora led a makeup workshop, her blouse a beacon under the lights. Her students crowded around, brushes in hand, as she taught bold gala looks. Jamal Carter, now a receptionist at the Meridian, stood at the front, his wit sharper, his confidence blooming. "Professor, you changed everything," he said, his eyes bright. Zora had mentored him through his doubts, guiding him to lead a training session at the hotel. "You're next, Jamal," she replied, adjusting his contour with a deft touch. "Seeds grow." The room buzzed, students calling her Madam Kincaid, a title earned in fire. She shared her story: Grayson's betrayal, Mama's loss, her rise. "They tried to bury me," she said, her skirt sweeping as she moved. "But I'm a seed, not a weed." The class cheered, inspired. Clara, now a regular, grinned from the back, her finance skills part of Zora's victory. Zora's brushes danced, her artistry a bridge to the future. She'd trained new staff at the hotel, her policies ensuring no one faced Mama's fate. Outside the Grand Meridian, Zora stood, the city's lights a canvas of possibility. Her locket gleamed, her bun steady, her blouse and skirt a testament to her journey. She'd been mocked, diminished, but her truth had shattered those lies. The hotel glowed behind her, no longer a cage but a stage. She whispered to her locket, "Mama, we did it." Her mother's dream, justice, dignity, lived in her. Jamal joined her, his receptionist badge shining. "You made us proud, Professor," he said. Zora smiled, her eyes fierce. "We're just starting." She drove through Manhattan's night, the skyline a constellation of hope. Her artistry had painted more than faces. It had painted change. The scholarship, the reforms, Jamal's rise. They were her legacy, Mama's legacy. The road stretched ahead, her blouse catching the streetlight's glow. She wasn't just Zora Kincaid. She was a storm, a seed that had broken ground. The world would know her name, not as a clerk, but as a force of justice. The story's end was only a beginning. Zora's fight had sparked a fire, one that would burn through prejudice, through systems, through time. Her locket held Mama's love, her brushes held her power, and her heart held the truth. Readers, was this tale gripping? Comment 1 if it moved you, 0 if it fell flat. Share your story of rising above, and subscribe to follow more journeys like Zora's. Her canvas was complete, but the world awaited her next stroke. Zora's journey has painted a canvas of justice, her resilience a beacon for all who rise above. Her story lives in every heart that dares to grow through cracks. Readers, what did her triumph stir in you? Comment 1 if her fire inspired you, 0 if it missed the mark, and share your own tale of overcoming. Your thoughts fuel our next chapter. Thank you for walking this path with Zora. Your presence lights our way. Subscribe and let's meet again where new stories bloom, ready to spark your soul.